February 19, 2019, time is 3:36 p.m. and me and my partner will conduct an interview with our old teacher. And may you please state your name, age.
Okay, I'm Abigail Deabanico. I'm 44. I teach English here at UST.
So for the first question, what made you pursue the profession of being a teacher?
I come from a family of teachers, so my grandfather, my mother, my sister, and even my aunts. So I think it was a bit expected that I also pursue the profession of teaching.
Second question is, did the experience meet your expectations?
Yeah, I think I know what to expect, and so far my expectations have been met.
As a teacher, what are the preparations that you have undergone in order to meet the demands of teaching and learning processes in the 21st century?
Of course, a teacher has to be updated all the time of the trends and what's going on in the profession. You also have to update yourself professionally, so that means you go to grad school, attend seminars to keep you updated.
Number 4, what are the similarities and differences in the system of education between the Philippines and the other countries?
Similar things?
Yes,
Okay.
culture.
Okay, so with the countries I've been to, should I also discuss the differences?
Yes.
Okay, so when I went to the Middle East, of course, the culture would be a big factor because the religion is different, and so when you deal with the children or the students, you have to also bear that in mind. The students are segregated, male and female, so they cannot be combined, and therefore, if the students are male and the teacher is female, you also have to do a lot of adjustments.
You stated adjustments, but was it hard adjusting in that atmosphere?
I made sure that before I accepted the job in the countries I went to, I read on their culture and their expectations of the teachers. And so when I went there, I knew that I was ready.
So, Mom, what are the advantages and disadvantages of teaching in a different cultural setting?
Okay, one disadvantage is that you get to understand people and their views about life. Because I think if you just stay in your country, your viewpoints and your outlook is a bit limited. But when you live with other people and experience their cultures, you get to appreciate them more and understand why are we different from them.
Based po din sa sinabi niyo na different, what was the biggest problem that you have encountered as a teacher in a multicultural setting?
Okay, one problem that I need to address was, I think I've mentioned earlier that since I had teenagers in the Middle East, of course they look at Filipinas simply as caregivers, household help, and so they could not, some of them could not accept the idea that I'm a Filipina going to teach them. But eventually, we were able to deal with each other well, and in fact, my students are my friends now on Facebook.
So, Mom, what specific behaviors do foreign and local students differ from each other? Example, sa way ng pagkain nila ng lunch or sa pananamit, ganun.
Okay. Of course, in Muslim countries, you have to be careful not to touch because it's a no-no for them, especially the males or the boys. Also, you have to remember that they fast during the Ramadan, and so we should not talk about food or show them that you're eating or drinking. So that was one thing. And of course, it's also not good to talk about religion and the differences between Roman Catholics and the Muslims.
How did you handle or discipline your students while considering their background?
Okay, how did I deal with them? Well, one thing was that, of course, these are teenagers, so I expect them to be unruly and all. So I think I tried to be patient and then show them that why it's important to behave in class and what were my expectations. So I think I thought then that I really had to keep on reminding them about this.
Did your students listen to your instructions?
Yes, I think they did. Okay.
And next question, what kind of social issues were present in your classroom?
Social issues. With my Ethiopian experience, I think you know that it's a poor country in Africa. So one difficulty was that although I was in a government school, and these are supposed to be young men and women, so some of them would not have books with them, or even shoes on their feet, or even pens. So I think as a teacher, I had to provide and make sure that all of them are treated equally despite their background.
Follow-up question regarding that. How did you discuss these social issues to your students?
I did not really talk about it with them. I think it was more of just making sure that they were treated equally, not showing favoritism, or that I would talk to Catholic students better than those who are non-Catholics.
Next question. Did the school prepare their students for the real world? If yes, how? If no, why?
Okay, I think all of these schools prepares their students for the real world. What we did in our classes was to make the students aware that when you go out of this school or even out of your country, this is what you will experience and see. And I think the skills that we provided them help them in a way to be at par and be competitive with other students or other people.
Next question. How do you impart knowledge and teach values and proper conduct to your foreign students?
Values and proper conduct. Okay, with values, I think you don't really have to rub it in. You have to be a good example. For example, like coming to class on time, erasing the board before you start, making sure that everything is ready. What else? Conduct, of course, when there are exams, no cheating. So all of these have to be repeatedly shown so that they remember these values.
If you're given the chance to teach again in a multicultural setting, will you accept it?
Right now, I think I would have to beg off because my mother is not getting any younger. She's in her 70s and I'm the only child at home. My other sister is abroad, so I have to be with my mother. So I would have to say no.
Last question, ma'am. As a teacher, what is your end goal? Why are you doing all these things?
Okay, of course, I think all of us would like to be productive members of our society. We want to help in our little ways. You don't really have to be a big figure to help out. So I think this is my way of sharing what I've learned and giving back. I think I'm happy with the idea that my students have learned something from me, not necessarily get the perfect grades, but they graduated, so I think that's enough for me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Ay, salamat.
Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am.
so I hope I've helped you.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. You help
Thank
a lot.
you.
Okay, thank you.
you.